Right, mates, let's kick things off with a proper setup. 10 years ago, yeah, you heard me right, Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios shook hands, agreeing to sling Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Back then, it felt like we were sitting on a gold mine of possibilities. Would Andrew Garfield swing back? Could Spidey pop up in Age of Ultron? And how would villains like Venom, Vulture, or Mysterio shake things up? Now, here we are, teetering on the edge of a fourth Spider-Man flick, with filming set to kick off this summer. But hold your horses. Official news is tighter than a drum. Still, insider whispers keep dropping hooks that'll reel you in. Starting with the leaked script of Avengers, Kang Dynasty. A 169-page behemoth penned by Jeff Loveness, the bloke behind Quantumania. This draft was supposedly the blueprint for the MCU's roadmap as of spring 2023. We've already dived deep into that elsewhere, so if you're itching for the juicy bits, check out our breakdown. Meanwhile, the retro-futuristic vibe of the Fantastic Four trailer feels like a breath of fresh air for Marvel, which has been drowning in rinse-and-repeat plots. Fingers crossed Dr. Doom doesn't drop the ball. He's got to be that gothic aristocrat with space dreams, just like in the comics. It's that mix of medieval swagger and cutting-edge tech that made Doom a fan-favorite villain in geek cinema. Of course, we're not planning to conquer planets anytime soon, but hey, a love for space paired with classic style? That's a match made in heaven. Much like those designer watches from the Belarusian brand Havaianas Star Chronicle collection. Both Dr. Doom and Reed Richards would rock them with pride. Now, let's peel back the layers on OL Spidey himself, because his story threads are likely to weave through both Judgment Day and his own standalone flick. From Peter Parker's perspective, the Kang Dynasty plot kicks off with him sharing a classroom with Miles Morales at Empire State University. Originally, the studio planned to unleash the fourth Spider-Man before the fifth Avengers flick, where we'd finally see Miles in live-action glory. Picture this. Peter's cracking jokes with his mate, reminiscing about how he stopped a robbery the other day using nothing but a tablet and some webbing. He quips that he'd rather just punch the baddie next time. But their banter gets cut short when the professor fires a question at Peter. Caught off guard, he freezes mouth agape. Miles quietly props him up, and Peter manages to squeak out an answer. After class, Peter checks his phone and sees snaps of MJ and Ned chilling at MIT. Then comes the gut punch, a photo of MJ locking lips with some new bloke. That's enough to knock anyone off balance. Miles, oblivious to Peter's turmoil, suggests they come up with a duo nickname, something like Spider Buddies. Peter cracks a faint smile and counters with Spider Crew. They suit up and hit the streets, swinging into action while juggling shifts at Joe's Pizza. But here's the kicker. They're constantly late, and their boss is ready to can them. Rent's due, and eviction's looming. Life's messy, innit? So there they are, gliding over bustling streets, when they spot some low-level crime. A thief trying to pinch something from a shop. Working like a well-oiled machine, Peter and Miles shut it down quick. But guess what? Another tardy shift later, they're handed their P-45s. Out on the pavement, they're fuming as their boss snatches the pizza boxes out of their hands and storms off. If that ain't a nod to Sam Raimi's second flick, I don't know what is. Miles tries to lighten the mood with a joke, but Peter's already wound tighter than a spring. He snaps, accusing Miles of not taking their gig seriously, reminding him of the weight that comes with wearing the Spider-Man moniker. Miles, blindsided by the outburst, falls silent. Peter realizes he's gone too far, caught between guilt and frustration. In a quiet but firm tone, Miles makes it clear he's willing to shoulder the burden alongside Peter. Peter hesitates, torn by fear and personal demons, then turns and walks away into the crowd. Miles just stands there watching him go. Meanwhile, Kang's council rolls into Universe 616, and Motus drops a message sentencing Earth to destruction for the Avengers' crimes and theft of artifacts, namely Kamala's bracelets and Shang-Chi's 10 rings. Spider-Man witnesses the chaos unfold in one of New York's districts. Across the globe, Kang's warships start raining energy blasts, leveling skyscrapers, landmarks, and entire cities. Amidst the carnage, Spider-Man swings toward MIT, desperate to reach MJ and Ned. Around them, the world's literally crumbling to dust. Flying through the chaos, Miles catches up to Peter, pleading with him to stop and move away from the epicenter of disaster. The bloke's scared. If they keep risking their necks, they'll just end up dead. But Peter's too consumed by the thought of saving his mates to listen. Both Spider-Men watch in horror as Kang flips the switch on a second wave of destruction. This time, it's not just buildings crumbling. It's entire city blocks being erased like chalk on a wetboard. The tremors grow stronger, the air thick with ash and debris. Firestorms sweep through neighborhoods, leaving nothing but charred ruins behind. Amidst this apocalyptic nightmare, Miles nearly gets flattened under a collapsing skyscraper. But Peter, good ol' dependable Peter, snatches him out of harm's way at the last second. As the dust settles, Captain America's voice crackles over the comms, rallying what's left of Earth's heroes to Wakanda, humanity's last stand. Using strange portal tech, Peter and Miles answer the call. Now, here's where things get spicy. Earth's remaining heroes decide their only shot is to take out Immortus, one of Kang's big bads. Miles teams up with others for a suicide mission to destroy Ramatuta's fortress and sever Kang's power supply. The battle's brutal. Heroes go down trying to punch through Kang's army, while others face off against Ramatuta himself. In the heat of it all, the villain smashes Peter with his staff, sending him flying like a ragdoll. Bloodied and broken, Peter tries to rise, but his body gives out. Driven by sheer rage, Miles steps up to face Ramatuta alone. The kid's got guts, no doubt about it. Ramatuta sneers, mocking his defiance as foolishness. Peter, barely conscious, croaks out a warning for Miles to back off, but it's too late. With a cold, calculated strike, Ramatuta impales Miles, killing him instantly. Spider-Man freezes, horrified, unable to move as everything falls apart. All three hero groups? Toast. Immortus grabs Kamala's bracelets, and that's the end of that. With the world burning and nowhere left to run, Captain America gathers the survivors in an underground bunker, a secret Stark-built stronghold designed for exactly this kind of apocalypse. Among the remnants are Thor, Hulk, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Kamala Khan, and, yep, Spider-Man. Above them, the sky glows an ominous green, acid rain pelting the earth like nature's own vengeance. Lightning flashes light up the horizon, each bolt a grim reminder of how screwed they really are. The 10 rings are still in play, but everyone knows time's running out. Then comes the cavalry, or rather, Kang's endless legions swarming the bunker. A desperate fight breaks out, and Shang-Chi pays the ultimate price. Just when it seems like all hope's lost, who shows up but Kang the Conqueror from Quantumania, dripping with outre energy. The guy snatches the 10 rings and squares off against Immortus. Reality itself starts unraveling like a cheap sweater. Meanwhile, the surviving heroes keep throwing punches at Kang's armada, refusing to go quietly into the night. Up above, a ship descends, and out step Wolverine. Yes, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. They urge Holland's Spider-Man and the others to join them. Turns out, just before Kang's invasion, Loki tasked the TVA with gathering anchors from across the multiverse, creating a sort of lifeboat for the end times. Together with the Fantastic Four organization, they built a special ark capable of transporting survivors to a safe zone in the multiverse. Peter and Kamala manage to board it, but hold on to your hats. Everything starts collapsing around them. Kang from Quantumania offs Immortus and uses the shards of destroyed universes to forge a single, unified world. The Ark, with its precious cargo of survivors, ends up in Kang's hands. And just like that, the credits roll. Cue Secret Wars. Alright, let's talk brass tacks. First off, Miles Morales. The studio's original blueprint was to drop the 4th Spider-Man flick before the 5th Avengers movie, introducing Miles in live-action glory. So don't count him out just yet. He might still swing into upcoming projects. Next, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We've been rooting for his return, and the leaked script practically confirms Feige got the green light to use the iconic web slinger. Here's hoping the writers do right by him and give us that long-awaited team-up with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Finally, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. the golden goose keeping audiences glued to their seats. The bloke's one of the few MCU heroes mainstream viewers actually care about, so it's no surprise Marvel's doubling down on his story. Interestingly, the leaked script barely mentions the black suit, meaning the fourth film wasn't originally meant to dive into the symbiote saga. That was supposed to happen during Secret Wars. Which begs the question, how will Tobey's Spider-Man react, given his history with Venom? On another note, recent insider chatter suggests Holland's Spider-Man will stay masked throughout Judgment Day. Think The Mandalorian. Pedro Pascal voices the character, but a stuntman wears the helmet 90% of the time. This approach kills two birds with one stone. It keeps Peter's identity under wraps while letting Holland focus on Christopher Nolan's Odyssey. Clever, innit? In any case, what do you reckon about this unrealized Spider-Man storyline within Kang Dynasty? When do you think Miles Morales should be introduced? And what are your expectations for Tobey Maguire's involvement in the wars? Personally, I reckon Miles deserves his own spotlight, but shoving him into the MCU too early feels like a recipe for disaster. As for Tobey, well, let's just say his return better be worth the wait. And Tom Holland? The bloke's carrying the torch just fine, but let's hope Marvel give him room to breathe and grow. Speaking of breathing, let's wrap this up, shall we? Right, folks, that's the lot. You've stuck with me this far, and for that, I'm bloody grateful. If you enjoyed this little romp through the Spider-Verse, do us a solid. Smash that subscribe button, chuck us a like, and maybe even share this with your mates. We've got more where that came from, including a cracking analysis of upcoming films that'll have you buzzing. So, don't bugger off just yet. Stick around and dive into our next video. Trust me, it's worth your time. Cheers for tuning in, and remember, stay sharp, stay curious, and keep swinging. Until next time,